In the immortal words of the immortal Fetty Wap, hey, what's up? Hello, Philadelphia. We are Trust the Process Live. We are brought to you by My New Philly. As always, I am your host, James Hyden, here with my guys, YG himself. YG stands for young gentlemen. James Jackson, how you feel?
I'm feeling good, man. I'm feeling good. You know how much like this good weather is just touching my soul. Just feel the seasonal depression just leaving your body out to greener pastures. Went
Yeah.
on a bike ride today. Like it's just great vibes, beautiful vibes today.
When you smell that fresh air, it like you don't know why. It's that weird feeling if you don't know why you're happy, but you
You're
are.
just
You know
you're
what I
just
mean?
happy.
I love it.
With
I
that,
can't get
and we
enough of it.
trash the Eagles a little bit tonight. It's a good day.
The man who picks all of the locks. That's why we call him Doc Lock. Josh Safran, how are you?
Oh, banners. I mean, JJ was alluding to it. Beautiful weather. Got some great news today, and I'm on top of the world. And some locks this weekend, last weekend. I really couldn't complain. How are you, banners? How are you doing?
Let's see. I came up big. What was that? I hit on like a 6-leg parlay on like Wednesday. Came up like 650. So it was a good
Are you
week.
kidding me? What sport? NBA?
Oh, all
You're
basketball.
not sharing
Baby.
the picks. Not
All
sharing
basketball.
the wealth.
Oh,
Not sharing the wealth.
this was my first bet back since I don't know if I pronounced it on the show. I took a hiatus from betting last NBA playoffs, and I swear to God, I will never bet on Bam Adebayo again. He lost me he was the last leg Bam Adebayo rebounds. I think it was only at like 10.5 too. So like you're hammering that. You're thinking, oh, Bam's going to crush this. Lost me a 12-leg parlay that would have paid out like $6,300. He was the last leg. So I called that quits for a while. So this is my first bet back. So we're up. We're up, boys. We're feeling good. We're up here. And we're moving forward. You know what I mean? And by the way, Barstool Sportsbook still owes me $320 from last NBA playoffs. I'm still bitter about that. Portnoy, I have not forgotten. But I saved the best introduction for last. The man with digits in his name, so many digits. You're gonna find out how many. Max Coolish.
I'm great, man. I'm great. I don't want to sound like a broken record here, but we're doing the show. It's still comfortably light outside. It's beautiful. The sun's out until past 5 o'clock every day. Like, I want to walk places now, like to go do mundane things like grocery stores or like food, like delivery. I'm not even interested in delivery right now. I want to walk places. That hasn't happened in so long, and it's nice to feel that way again.
Exactly. Beautiful. So, boys, we're gonna start off the show. There's two burning questions that have been plaguing our fair city, and I know you guys hear them all the time because we, as a show, have our finger on the pulse of this city. It's just it's who we are. It's how we are. It's what we do. The first one, I'll get to. The second one, we're gonna save for later in the show because I can't just give everything away. We're in the business of show business here. I can't just give everything away. The first one. And I know you guys hear it all the time, as do I. People ask me, they come up to me, they see me on the street, they ask me, they go, Banners, what happens if we can't catch the show live? And I tell them, well, you can find it you can find it wherever you get your podcasts. I don't know. We use Anchor, so it's everywhere. You know what I mean? And if you find one that's not, if you find one that we're not on, tell me. And I'm going to be on Anchor's head about it. You know what I mean? So it's you let us know. That's my answer that I always give. That's burning question number one. Burning question number two. We'll get to later in the show. I'm going to save that. Like I said, we don't give we're like magicians. We don't give away all our tricks. No. Our first question, though, in the main event, the first half of the show, has a little bit to do with our boys that are coming off a tough loss against the Clippers. But we're looking to rebound, and we got some good news. We got some good news from Keith Pompey, the Sixers insider, that Joel Embiid might be back sooner than expected. Sooner than expected, meaning possibly the Nuggets game.
Days, not weeks, baby.
Sounds like a good chance to cement himself as the MVP frontrunner by absolutely dogging Nikola Jokic. But I digress. We're not going to talk about JoJo. We're not here to talk about him yet. The first question comes after the trade deadline. I know a lot of people wanted to see Daryl Morey do more, but the first one, and Max, I'm going to come to you with this first. Are you chill with George Hill? Like, it's like George Hill's all we got.
Oh, come on! You know what you're doing. Coming to me.
I know exactly what I'm doing.
Come on, that's love.
Do it.
That is love. Fine. You want me to sit here and tell you how I said George Hill was the most boring trade avenue they could have went down, and that's what happened? Fine. You got me, Banners. They went the most boring trade avenue possible, and you know what? I'm okay with it. I was talking about it with some people under our post about the trade deadline on our Instagram page. Go plug that at Trust the Process Live.
Yes,
my comment was simple. It's more about what we kept than what we got.
Exactly.
We kept everything in terms of important future assets. This team doesn't need to pigeonhole itself into a 2-year championship window. I get that we have to try to strike while the iron's hot with Embiid, being in the prime of his playing career. But, I would like to think that we don't need to go all in on this guy, because what if our worst thoughts do come to fruition and Embiid stuff goes down the toilet, and then what happens with the rest of our roster? We traded it all away for Kyle Lowry. And then what? Then we're back to the 7th, 8th seed mediocrity of Andre Iguodala and Evan Turner days. And I don't want to do another process. I can't do another 6-year process so soon after the last 6-year process. I can't do that just yet. So I'm pleased. I'm not going to sit here and say like this move catapulted them into a higher tier of relevancy. I think obviously everybody sees all the talk with the Nets going on. It's hard to compare that to what the Nets did. But I am going to say this: I am happy with what they did in terms of what they didn't give up compared to what they got.
All right.
Fair point.
All right, we're going to shift over to YG. How do you feel about George Hill coming in to be this ball handler on the second unit?
Yeah, Max, I think those are all fair points. And to first answer the question, like at first when I heard the news, I think I reacted similarly to a lot of people, and it was like, George Hill, like all these big names are flying around, and you're like, George Hill, Max, you said it. Everyone wanted to see Daryl Morey make a bigger splash. But one thing George Hill 100% does is gives you that point guard who can control the perimeter in the half court when the game slows down into the playoffs. Like it's been the Sixers' Achilles heel. It's been Ben Simmons' Achilles heel for the last 2 or 3 years now. And they finally addressed it with a veteran point guard who's not going to look to take shots away from Ben Simmons or take the offense away from Simmons or Embiid. You get that in George Hill. At first, I wasn't crazy about it because for some reason off the top of my head, at first when I heard George Hill, I think you already got that in Danny Green, especially with the 3-point shooting. But what you have in Danny Green is more of a shooting guard to what George Hill is a point guard. That's what I realized on second thought. But on first thought, you can't lie, Josh. On first thought, they seem like a very similar player in terms of major impact on the floor. What the numbers that I'm going to get, you're like, you got that with Danny Green, 14, 10, 12, 14 points on 40% from 3-point shooting. Like, you got that in Danny Green right now. But what George Hill brings you is that point guard presence. And then, Max, to your second point, when you talked about you're happy in terms of what you didn't give up. To me, this trade says that Daryl Morey will not be on the wrong side of a big deal or will not give up more than he has to.
Yep.
It's such a big difference. Such a big difference having like just a top tier general manager ownership.
It's
people pulling the
time.
Such a big difference.
Yep, it's the second time now that he's been on the phone with the team. They've wanted too much and he's hung up. The first time is when he wanted to make a deal for James Harden and had Ben Simmons in a package for them, and the Rockets got greedy. He hung up the phone and said, "No, you're asking for too much. I'd rather keep what I have." You go and get Kyle Lowry, the Raptors call back with too much, he hangs up the phone. No. I'd rather just go get George Hill. We get a guy who, was performing well in Tony Bradley, but that's an asset we can afford to give up and some draft picks. I'll do that, not mortgage my entire future and still address a need. I think most general managers would have bit at the name of Kyle Lowry, who still addresses the Sixers' need, maybe in a bigger way, but bites at the name and gives up too much. Daryl Morey doesn't. Like, he definitely is not afraid to hang up the phone.
Sometimes doing nothing is the best move. It really is. But Josh, Doc, lock it up for us. How do you feel about George Hill?
Well, you Banners, you kind of just nailed it. Like, lock it up for us. You guys pretty much said it all, JJ, especially you. Like, you said exactly what I was thinking, where it was, we got George Hill. I'm looking at Fournier to the Celtics. And, I mean, it was later in the day, Oladipo to the Heat. I'm seeing all those big names. And then I let it marinate. I let it simmer. And I had a good think about it. You guys nailed it. I didn't want to give up anything. And Banners, it's so sad. We had to give up Tony Bradley, who was balling out, by the way. Yeah. So sad to see Tony Bradley go.
Friend of the show, Tony Bradley.
Yeah, but listen, it's Tony Bradley, and we're not giving up Matisse Thybulle. We're not giving up Shake. We're not even giving up Maxey. We're still holding on to him, even though he's clearly not ready. To me, all things considered, this is close to being a perfect move. Obviously, if you could have gotten Kyle Lowry for a dime a dozen, but that's just not realistic. It was very minimalistic and filled a very real hole. JJ, I think it was you, Max. You might have said it because we're all in agreement here. The Achilles heel in the playoffs, I feel so much more confident about it, and especially the veteran presence. Simmons and Embiid are clearly the leaders here. They're clearly the best players, but their playoff experience is kind of minimal. How many years has George Hill been in the playoffs? Like 7, 8? He has been in the playoffs many times. I love it.
And here's the thing.
Is when how often has he missed it?
Right.
Yeah.
And here's the thing, though, Josh. Don't get too excited. It's not a perfect deal. It's not a perfect trade. And the next question, I don't want to get ahead of myself. The next question, I'll address why. But it's definitely not perfect. I think it's good. I think it addresses the need, but it's not perfect.
I'm kind of tepid on the trade. I'm lukewarm on the trade because, like you said, Josh, Tony Bradley was balling. So am I good with George Hill? Yes. I've always really liked George Hill as one of those guys, either a last minute trade at the deadline or a buyout if he ever makes it. I mean, he's going to start being a buyout candidate with his age in the coming years. But him and Rodney Hood just seem to change teams at the deadline for those teams that are like looking for pieces at the for a playoff push every year. So I'm not surprised by it. I always like George Hill. There was some weird stat like the Sixers now have the two best three-point shooters with George Hill and Seth Curry statistically. George Hill is a sneaky good three-point shooter, as well as that backup ball handler that I've been clamoring for. But if there was a way to unload Mike Scott's contract and keep Tony Bradley, that would have been ideal for me because seeing Mike Scott play that 5 against the Clippers, I wanted to run through a brick wall head first. Like that was
favorite. That was Mike Scott Hive.
I mean, yes, that's cool and all, but when Tony Bradley gives you, because they obviously want to keep Dwight in that bench role. They don't need I like that shift. The Doc very smartly hasn't shifted Dwight Howard to the starting 5 when Embiid's out. I like that. Keep Dwight in his role, keep him happy, keep him comfortable, and don't try and mess with things.
Don't ask too much from him. Yeah, don't ask too much.
Don't wear him out.
Exactly. But Mike Scott, come on. You're not going to have Ben Simmons guarding the 5 all game, and Mike Scott's your next best option at guarding 5. I mean, don't get me wrong. I like the addition of B-Ball Paul to the roster, but so long answer made short. I like George Hill. I'm lukewarm on the actual trade. I think you could have gotten away with adding another second-round pick in there and keeping Tony Bradley, but that's just me.
Hey, don't forget about Iggy Brazinkas.
Whatever. Don't give me Iggy, all right? Don't give me this Iggy.
Designated the G League.
I liked him on Michigan, but no, I'm not going to sit here and make the case.
Come on. So our second question, and JJ alluded to it pretty well. And actually, I'm going to come right back to you, JJ, because I know you got some stuff to say on this.
Yeah.
With everything that the trade deadline, the NBA trade deadline is definitely the best in sports. So with everything that went down, are we worried? Am I worried? Tell me what to feel. Do I need to be worried?
I think the Sixers would be ignorant and or conceited to not be worried. Look at this graphic below us. Every single one of those players went to an Eastern Conference contender. Every single one on the graphic, all 4 of them, went to someone directly opposing the Sixers. Evan Fournier to a little lower, but the next 3 guys, PJ Tucker, Victor Oladipo, LaMarcus Aldridge, are all surrounding the Sixers.
Isn't everybody on that graphic except for Fournier kind of washed?
But
LaMarcus Aldridge is kind of washed. I would definitely say no about Tucker.
Victor Oladipo is not washed. And LaMarcus Aldridge is now maybe the 4th or 5th option on an offensive team right now. Yeah. That's what he is now. So he can be washed. He might be the best 5th option in the league right now. That's crazy. And he's directly opposing the Sixers. So what I didn't want to say last point, what makes more sense now, is the Sixers should be worried because on paper, the Sixers made the smallest improvement to their team of any Eastern Conference contender, in my opinion. Who made a trade at the trade deadline? The Sixers made the smallest improvement to their team.
Okay.
of any Eastern Conference contender. And I don't think the gap was so big that doesn't matter. Like, yes, they didn't mortgage the future. Yes, you probably took the safest and smartest route by getting George Hill. But the fact of the matter still remains that the Nets got Blake Griffin and LaMarcus Aldridge. The Bucks got PJ Tucker. The Heat got Victor Oladipo and Jeff Teague for the Bucks. Yeah. So they all severely upgraded their teams. The Sixers are still in first, still the MVP frontrunner, and should still feel confident going down the stretch. But the spidey senses should be tingling for a fact, because every team who was chasing them got so much better.
I see what you're saying. If the team didn't
have the biggest advantage of probably is still coaching over a lot of these teams. I'm taking Doc over a lot of these coaches, and the chemistry factor. Our team's been number one. We've been doing it all season. You guys just got together with 10 less games at the end of the regular season to try to make this up. So they do.
I see what you're saying. Like if the team didn't make a splash trade like the Oladipo trade, they made like George Hill-esque trades, but more of them. You know, all right, I got you. I got you.
And I think PJ Tucker does wonders for the Bucks, by the way.
He really does. Doc Locke, what am I? I don't know. JJ brought me down. How do I feel? Tell me.
I'm sorry.
Well, I'm going to bring you down, and I'm going to try and bring you back up as well. Because to say you're not worried if you're the Sixers or if you're a Sixers fan, I think it's just ignorant. I mean, you look at those Brooklyn Nets, and it was all silly when it was like, oh, how are these three guys going to play? Especially when they don't have anyone around them. And now they're just piecing together a really good team. And one of the things that helped me sleep at night as a Sixers fan. Well, yes, exactly. And the other thing that helped me sleep at night as a Sixers fan is knowing that Embiid was just going to have their way with the Nets. It didn't matter. And not that LaMarcus Aldridge is this be-all, end-all, that he's some Embiid kryptonite or something like that. But LaMarcus Aldridge and DeAndre Jordan and Blake Griffin, like, it starts to add up. And then I didn't even mention the big three. You know what I'm saying? So to say we're not worried, that's crazy. And yeah, the Heat, I think that Oladipo was a good move. But let's not lose sight. They did get rid of Kelly Olynyk. And look, I'm not a big Kelly Olynyk fan. But
buyout option for the
Sixers? Buyout option? I'm all about that. And I know a lot of people aren't as much, but I'm all about that one.
No, I'm all about that.
But back to the Embiid point. I mean, once Bam comes out, the Heat don't have too many big men that I'd be scared of at all. Oladipo, I was really lobbying for the Sixers to get him. I don't think he's tipping the needle, but I do think we should be a little more worried. Same thing with Fournier. Like, he's just a small addition. But here's the thing. I don't think there's another move. Like, I don't think the Sixers could have done anything differently. Like, I get not being over the moon about George Hill, but it's just been a constant theme. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. And this Sixers team certainly ain't broke. Like, look at how they're doing. And look, we can talk all about what is there to make without Joel Embiid. Well, you could say these guys like each other and they gel well together. Come playoff time, that's going to mean a whole lot. Well, am I worried about these other teams? Yes, but I'm not. There's no panic button being pressed. The Sixers are cruising right now. And you know what? I'm going to focus on the Sixers for now. And when it comes playoff time, and until one of these teams clearly overtakes them, that's when I'll start worrying for real.
You're too casual.
Let me ask you guys a question.
Josh, I'll say you're too casual. The Nets are what?
Why didn't we hear, and we talked about this name, I brought him up mainly because it's a pipe dream that I've had for the longest time. We brought him up last week as an addition to the list. Why didn't we hear anything about Terrence Ross?
Especially
like
with the
Magic move.
I don't know.
Every other big piece to finally commit to a rebuild, except for your 30-year-old shooting guard. Like,
I mean, the only thing I could really think is Morey was so like on the phone with the Raptors, and he was going after that, and the Magic were.
No, I think it's on the Magic. I think it's on the Magic side.
Yeah, I don't even think it was Daryl Morey. Like, we didn't hear anything about Terrence Ross league wide. Like, there wasn't. Like, there was no rumors about.
He didn't even seem worried. He tweeted the Captain Phillips, "I'm the captain now" gif after, because Gordon and Fournier got traded within like 30 minutes of each other, and he tweeted that. Like, to me, it seems like he never even
knew he was about
getting traded.
That's so weird to me, because like, oh man, I'm never gonna get over not getting T. Ross.
Brandon, before you go, Josh, I gotta address you. You're a little too casual about not being worried, at least about the Nets. You started to go down the right path of alarming and urgency, talking about DeAndre Jordan and LaMarcus Aldridge and Blake Griffin, and you didn't even mention the guards. And so the Nets are now deeper than the Sixers at big man and better than the Sixers at guard. Like,
I'm sorry if I
wait. They're deeper at big man.
They're
definitely deeper.
They're definitely deeper.
Now we're near being better, but
no, not better, just deeper. Just can roll out more productive.
Lay that out for me.
Embiid, Dwight Howard.
That's it.
Right.
That's it. DeAndre Jordan, LaMarcus Aldridge, Blake Griffin.
I don't count. Are we really counting Blake Griffin as a big man anymore?
Claxton, huh? Yeah, he's a 4. He's a 4. And when they go small, he can be 5. He's been doing it. What would you consider?
We're really counting on Blake Griffin on the wrong side of 30 to come back and play the 4 in a playoff lineup. Is that what we're doing?
He's gonna do it. He's gonna give them. He's giving them minutes now. He's had an 18-point game.
I'll just put it in like the one saving grace in the Sixers Nets matchup is you look at the Nets and be like, there's nothing front to back that can cover Embiid. And not that these guys can stop Embiid, but like there's always someone who's like at least competent at playing big man basketball.
This was my point with Blake Griffin from the beginning. And I don't
JJ, I've been with you.
I didn't feel like I had any support in that take.
No. And I'm sorry if I didn't make that clear. I am terrified of the Nets, but I'm just saying I'm not smacking any panic button about the Miami Heat or the Boston Celtics because they got Evan Fournier.
Max, talk me off the ledge here.
I look up some Lakers were a thing.
What was that?
What's that?
Oh, I said just remember the 04 Lakers happened. They had a lot of big names on their roster. Granted, some of these guys aren't as old as Gary Payton was on that team, but I'm just saying nothing is written in stone until the games are played.
Okay.
So, Max, is that talk me off the ledge here while I look up some stats? Like, is that it? Because I need to hear more from you. I need you to sway me either way.
I mean, there's no doubt about it. The Nets are probably at least viewed by the the general NBA world as the favorites to come out of the East at this point. Like, I don't think that's controversial to say, but I do think that it helps that we are kind of familiar with them as an organization. Like, I know obviously this team is super, super different compared to, what we have seen, each of the last 3 seasons from the Nets. But, there's still some level of familiarity just in terms of the going to the stadium all the time and knowing your route and knowing the travel. Like, just little things like that add up. I mean, clearly the Nets are probably the most talented team in the league. Like, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that the Sixers trio of Ben, Seth Curry, and Danny Green are a better guard trio than or better scoring trio or better ball handling trio than KD, Kyrie, and James Harden. I'm not going to do that. Do I think that the Sixers are able to beat the Nets in a 7-game series? I think it would be hard to do. But do I think it's possible? Yeah, I think the Sixers have shown they're a high enough quality of team where they can at least hang with anyone for 7 games. Am I going to sit here and tell you confidently that they will win? No, because quite honestly, I think if I had a gun to my head and had to put my life on the line, I think I'm taking the Nets in a 7-game series right now just because of their depth. It's that's something that especially if you catch them in the third round of the playoffs, that extra 12 minutes a night or 10 minutes a night, if you're blowing teams out in the fourth quarter where LaMarcus Aldridge and Blake Griffin can get in and they can rest guys like Durant and DeAndre Jordan and Kyrie. All 3 of minus James Harden, Kyrie and Durant have kind of an extensive injury history at this point. Durant more so than Kyrie, but both of them have missed a fair share of games in the last couple of years. And if I'm the Nets, I'm trying to sweep my way through the first round, winning by 30 every night. So the second round is the first round if I'm the Nets. You know what I mean? That's how they need to be approaching it, because the Sixers are, the Sixers are probably more mentally prepared for tougher playoff series. I think at this point, it's probably hard to be a part of the Nets and not feel confident in yourself, right? Durant, Kyrie, James Harden, all 3 of them are insanely talented players, right? And I think there's definitely that expectation in that organization. They should be going far and they should be doing so with ease. So I think I think there's a lot of things working against the Sixers. I think the Sixers are a well-rounded, and well-balanced team that shoots and plays defense really well. And that's
I gotta pump the brakes.
You can't not be worried.
Just one thing.
I gotta pump these.
I said I'm worried.
No, I'm talking to Banners. I can see him shaking his head. I
gotta pump these brakes, man. Like I gotta stop hearing all this talk about Blake Griffin being the next big thing or the big thing again. After he scored 17 points against the Pistons. Before that, whoa. Before that, he hadn't scored more than 8 points when he's not playing because of that knee injury that's still dogging him. Okay, I don't want to hear anything about that. I don't want to hear anything about DeAndre Jordan, who hasn't got more than 6 rebounds 7 out of the last 10 games. I don't want to hear anything about LaMarcus Aldridge coming over and being a fifth man when he's scoring 13 points a game. Like, if that's really going to be your fifth man.
3 of them, not just one at a time. Like a combination of the 3 of them, you're going to have to deal with.
Like
with Embiid.
Embiid takes out 2.5 of them by himself, and then Dwight Howard, who's averaging over a rebound per 2 minutes when he's on the floor. Like that's
I'm not saying come in and walk all over the Sixers, but if you have this attitude of like they're nothing, they're
oh no. I'm talking about the big man here. I heard the statement that the Nets are better at big man than the Sixers, and I will fight that till my death.
That was not the statement. It was deeper.
Not better, deeper.
Still wrong. It's still wrong.
No.
Hey, wait, just one last.
It's still wrong.
Note. One last
if you want to count Blake Griffin as a big man, my man who is literally
he's not a wing.
No, nope.
All right,
not happening.
One last thing about the series. It's Doc Rivers, a Hall of Fame coach, against first-year Steve Nash, and honestly, I think that's one of the biggest X factors.
That's what I said. I said the Sixers still have advantage at coach. They still have advantage.
That counts for a lot.
Still have advantages. Depth is not one of them. It's not.
I'll fight you to the death about this. I will. I'll do it right here. I'll live on air. I'll do it. Oh boy! All right, we're getting to the second burning question that I mentioned before.
Oh man!
And it's not where you can find us if you missed the show. But if you didn't hear me earlier, and if you're not one of those people that's asked me on the street, you can find us wherever you get your podcasts on any platform. Just type in "Trust the Process Live." It might be TTPL Philly. Either way, you know where to search because you're watching us live. All right, the second burning question that I'm sure you've all heard, addressed, talked about, listened to callers on the radio who spend more time on the phone with radio stations than they do their wives. Like this one has been talked about at length.
Banner's coming at next.
It's hey, you know what? It's
is my wife the official radio partner of the Philadelphia Eagles?
Yes, sir.
Oh man! All right, so the second burning question, and it came in as a surprise, and there was a couple news stories that sprouted wings from this, but the Eagles have traded down from 6 to 12. All right, so they traded down. Like I did not see this coming for one. So JJ, I'm going to come to you first with Dan. How do you feel about the Eagles moving down from 6 to 12? And I'm going to add a second part to this question: is the 12th draft pick in the 2021 NFL draft, is the 12th draft pick Howie-proof?
See, I'm glad you asked that second part. I'll address both. But Josh, don't roll your eyes. You want me going first. You want me going first because I'm going to expose what the Eagles probably aren't proud to expose, is they moved down to 12 after making the offer to move up to 3 to draft Zach Wilson. The biggest fear of every Eagles fan was about to happen if Howie could have made it happen. And then he traded back to 12. Once he realized we can't get the home run, now I think it's a good thing that you're at 12 because it takes a little bit of pressure off of Howie. It takes a little bit of pressure off of Howie.
Right here.
Go ahead.
Does that mean the Eagles' faith in Jalen Hurts and say it with me now is a little shaky, baby?
Not doing it.
That's Max. You can't shake your head. No, it's exactly what it meant. They were about to. You cannot draft a quarterback.
Hold on. I would like to object.
You already drafted a quarterback in the second round to not use him. You cannot draft a quarterback 3 overall to not use him. Moving up to get Zach Wilson, which is public information, is saying that Jalen Hurts is not our guy. And hold on. I'm going to stop you at the public information part. You know why I don't really give a damn about that report?
because it came from Ian Rappaport. And I'm not saying that is a shot at his quality.
What's wrong with the
work as a
rap
whole.
sheet?
Raps.
Whoa. Have you guys not been paying attention for the last year? As a bug in Howie Roseman's office, house, and on his cell phone. That guy knows everything that goes on in the Eagles front office. When's the last time Ian Rappaport broke a story about the Eagles?
All right, I see your point,
Anyone?
but don't become
Wait,
a rap sheet.
hold on. I have to keep going because really quick, I just have to address this. This is all just a matter of snowball effect because the 49ers trade up. Because now there's rumors circulating that the 49ers traded up for Mac Jones, which is not true, right? We all in agreement that Mac Jones would have been there at 12
I mean, it's a
or
theory.
6 or 9 or damn near anywhere in the first round. So now it's just, in my opinion, you can believe it if you want. In my opinion, there's just total smoke everywhere after pick number 1 because now it's starting to look like picks 2 through 5 might be quarterbacks, and everybody's just trying to throw anything they can out there to make sure they get their guy. So if I'm being quite honest with you,
where does smoke come from? Where does smoke come
but
from?
the Eagles aren't picking top 5. That's what I'm saying. The Eagles have no reason to throw smoke out there because they're not actually making a pick for a quarterback.
But my point is, you tried to. Howie made the attempt to do it. And that's what you're
I'm saying that quote might not be true. Or might not be as true as it was. Anyone can look for a trade up to 3. What's making him say that he's actually willing to put out all the resources to do so? Yeah, if you can make a trade up to 3 from 6 by giving up pennies to do so, then yeah, maybe you get a guy who is clearly going to be people are willing to give up a ransom for. Right? I think there's no harm in doing your due diligence, but I think the fact that we saw what the Niners gave up. We saw how all these trades shook out. We saw what had to be given up to move up those spots. Hell, we did it a couple of years ago. I'm sorry. I'm just not fully buying that report. I'm just not.
Well, there's this thing that creates smoke. I think it's called fire. So by that logic, where there's
I never
smoke, there's fire.
Ian Rappaport never put anything on Twitter that wasn't true. Like you're asking me, when's the last time Ian Rappaport broke an Eagle story? When's the last time Ian Rappaport broke an inaccurate story? Like when's the last time someone said to Ian Rappaport that's not true?
I mean, I don't even follow Ian Rappaport on Twitter, so I can't really answer that if I'm being totally honest with you. But I mean, my point is this. My point is this: is that there's a lot of speculation going on with these first couple of picks, and yeah, of course, Howie probably looked into making the jump from 6 to 3. Like I don't doubt that at all. But was that a serious inquiry? As in,
thank you.
Next couple of years to do so? I don't know.
That's all right, Josh. Josh, you sounded like you wanted to jump off that.
Yeah, I wanted to jump off the speculation over an Ian Rappaport tweet because you know what? I don't care because it didn't happen. And you know
this
who else
disrespect for rap sheets gotta stop.
It's crazy.
Well, there's no disrespect for rap sheet. What I'm saying is we can talk all day about a tweet that never happened, right? Like at the end of the day, the Eagles didn't trade to 3. So you know what? And I don't care. And you know who else doesn't care? Jalen Hurts doesn't care. This ain't no Carson Wentz show anymore where we have to worry about how our quarterback's feelings are when we're no. With that, those days are over. And you know what we haven't talked about? What the Eagles got in return for trading down. Gentlemen, the word unprecedented has been thrown around a lot over the last year and a month or so. But you know what? We're going to go back to unprecedented again. I'll throw out a year. The year 1993. Because that's the last time the Eagles had more than one first-round draft pick in the NFL draft. By making this move, by sliding down just 6 picks, the Eagles now might have 3 first-round draft picks. And unless you thought the Eagles were winning a Super Bowl this year with whoever they drafted at 6, I don't understand how you could be so angry over this brilliant move. I'm calling it brilliant, yes. Because look, at the mock drafts I'm looking at, you're seeing Devontae Smith and Jalen Waddle still available, just sitting there for the Eagles at 12.
I don't think Devontae Smith is going to be.
Yeah. When's the last time a wide receiver won a Heisman, gentlemen?
I've seen it, and you're right, Josh. I've seen it on a lot of mock draft boards too, and I just don't believe it. Like I just don't believe there's going to be a team at 6 or 7 who's going to take a chance on Trey Lance from North Dakota State, 900 Heisman Trophy winner. Like I just don't.
JJ, that's my bad. I misheard you. I thought you said you didn't believe in Devontae Smith.
No. I don't believe he's going to be there at 12.
All right, that's fair. Mock drafts are mock drafts, but even if Devontae Smith's not there, Jalen Waddle will be there. And if you're concerned about the injury,
what about Jamar Chase?
Jamar Chase, I don't think Jamar Chase has fallen that low.
I think your head's off the cloud.
I don't know. I was pretty not sure of it as well, but think about it like this. With all these trades that are going on, your first 3 picks are probably quarterback, right? Mm-hmm. Jaguars, obviously. Jets, seems like it. Who knows? The Niners, we're going to assume they are after making that
seems like
big
it
trade,
too. Yeah.
right? The Bengals, obviously, the Bengals are weird because Bengals could pick Jamar Chase, they could pick Devonta Smith, they could pick anybody. I think Kyle Pitts was never going to make it to 6. I don't know. I think that with all these trades going on, I think that with all these quarterbacks that just, it seems like everyone just wants the quarterbacks to go at the start. One of two things is going to happen. Either Jamar Chase or Smith falls because one of the two is viewed higher than the other, or in the other scenario where the pass catchers go appropriately, the Eagles can either go for Micah Parsons or Surtain Jr. And one of those two scenarios is gonna play out. There's no world which all the pass catchers and those two guys are all gone by 12. I don't think so. I agree with Josh. I think this is a really good trade. I think this made this pick more Howie-proof because, I'll say this. If he whiffs on this pick, this will be maybe the worst whiff you could have ever whiffed on. Like in history for any organization, given the pressure and the spotlight on this guy for his lack of success in the same position over the last couple
of years. Here's what I'll agree with. I'll agree with the fact that the pick, I think, is Howie-proof in the sense that there's so many holes in the Eagles that you could take the best available at 12, and he probably plugs a hole in the Eagles.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm getting at.
I'm not saying it's Howie-proof.
No. That's right. To that point, there might not be anything that's Howie-proof. But from that sense, if Howie just takes the best available at 12, he probably fixes a hole in the Eagles. But I'm not applauding a man for having a deal fall in his lap when he tried to do something else. He didn't. Yes, he did. His intention was to go.
He didn't do it.
If
his intention was to get to 3, then he would have shut out the picks to get to 3 because we own the Colts
out there. Puts this out. So you can not believe it if you want to, but the fact of the matter is, how we made an attempt to go to 3, couldn't do it, so then moved to 12. He doesn't get applauded for me for that. This isn't a brilliant move.
We applauded Daryl Morey for doing the same thing, walking away from a deal that wasn't advantageous.
He didn't walk away from it. His option got turned down. Daryl Morey walked away.
So he walked away.
Howie got denied.
You don't think the Eagles could? You don't think the Eagles could have pulled the trigger if they really were intent on doing so? You don't think they could have pulled the trigger to get from 6 to 3?
Howie gave his best option. And the trade went somewhere else. The pick went somewhere else. So Howie doesn't get. I don't applaud him for that. I don't applaud him for that.
I'm not going to applaud him. But you're making it seem like he was actively trying to try his hardest to get to 3 and was getting denied at the door.
If there's anybody out there that truly believes that anything is Howie-proof, I feel like you are the person that gets lied to a lot and believes it. This is the man who his whole scouting department was telling him that Justin Jefferson was far and away the better receiver than Jalen Reagor. Nah, I'm going to go with the kid from TCU. This is the same guy that was mandated by his boss, one of the only people in the world that is his superior, built around Jalen Hurts. And he goes, nah, I'm going to try and trade up to 3. This man doesn't learn. At all, from anything about anybody who plays a sport where a football is involved. How do you think if he makes these kind of decisions, how do you think that he's actually going to stop screwing up draft picks? That's cool. You got another first round pick next year where we're not actually sure whether the Colts pick is going to. We're pretty sure the Colts pick is going to convey to be a first rounder. But that's cool and all, but you could end up taking the guard from USC, Elijah Vera Tucker. You could end up taking Rondale Moore because you're hooked on the.
Yeah, I'd be pissed as shit at that.
And you could be hooked on the hype that he's the next Tyreek Hill. Oh, we need the next Tyreek Hill.
Classic.
No, dude. And he could be one of those guys. Howie Roseman. Oh no, Micah Parsons. He had off the field issues at Penn State. We don't want any of that in our locker room. You might. I don't want Micah. The Saints won a Super Bowl with a whole bunch of locker room issues. I'm sorry.
Does that? I just I get what you're saying, and I agree. 12 is certainly not Howie-proof, but just because Howie's been an idiot before, can't you just look at this move and kind of do you have a problem with the move, or is it a problem with drafting at 12?
Well, me personally, I don't think anything outside the top. I usually go like 7 is a sure thing. That's usually
this draft
usually,
is different because the top's going to be so diluted with quarterbacks.
Quarterbacks.
It's not going to go in the order of best prospect available or best player.
Well, but
available.
I'm taking out. I take out like I only count like Zach Wilson and Trevor Lawrence as like sure things this year. I don't really know anything about Trey Lance, mainly because he only played 1 game this year in like a showcase.
Fields will go early, and Trey Lance could go early. That's what I'm saying. Like, it's a diluted pool where your best players available are still going to be the best players available at 8 and 10 and 12 Like,
that's what I was going to say.
We're going to watch them pick two studs, back-to-back picks before us.
Well, that's what I was saying. I usually go like 7 is usually foolproof, like picks through 7. This year, probably 10 because there's going to be a huge run on quarterbacks taken with next year's class not being so great. I just think, and I mean, speaking from a guy whose team's sitting at 14, anything past usually 8 on, like literally you have no clue. You have no clue what direction they're going to go, what direction the board's going to fall, and that's when you start getting the guys who you think are first round talents who get graded up because of their pro days. Like it's just, and especially this year without a combine, I just think anybody who still has the notion that anything is Howie proof is a fool. And that's why I think that just you can't be positive about moving out of a sure to do spot. Like,
yeah, but you could have gotten, You can be positive about 3 first round draft picks. Like my biggest thing here. My biggest thing here is the Eagles, whether they pick at 6, whether they're going to pick at 12, they'll be middling at best this season, as hard as it is to say. And it's a little bit refreshing to see this team make a genuine effort to build through the draft, which is something I really haven't seen them do. Certainly haven't seen them do in the.
Why would you want that? Why would you want that when the GM's only good at building through free agency?
Well, because you could still build through free agency. This just gives you like 3 like really good draft picks to have like 3 first round draft picks potentially.
Well, that's not how it works. You can't have your cake and eat it too. You're the positions you're filling through free agency aren't the positions you're going to draft. So it's not like you're fixing the holes. It's not like both of them fix the same holes.
I don't see what you're saying. I'm saying why can't the Eagles get 3 first round draft picks and also pick some guys up in free agency as well?
I'm just saying there's no reason to be. I don't think the draft is a very confident spot for any team to be in unless you have a top 3 pick. I don't ever feel confident about, oh yeah, we're going to go build through the draft. I don't think that's I think it's the only way to do things in the NFL. I don't think it's a strategy to be confident in just because of the bust rate, especially when a GM's only shown a propensity to build through free agency. Granted, he's very good at that, very good at trades, but trading for active players who are guaranteed commodities.
And Banners, I think that's a perfect point to Josh. We talk about, can we be happy about the Eagles having 3 first round picks? The draft ain't tomorrow, man. Like nothing is Howie proof, right? And now he got picks stockpiled to make some kind of like I don't mean to scare y'all, but now he's got assets to still move. The draft ain't. It's not like we drafting right now. He got a solid month to still pull something out of left field.
And I actually think that's the best point to be positive about.
If nothing's Howie proof,
assets.
If nothing's Howie proof, nothing's Howie proof. But if he does hold on to them, which I do think he does, but I don't think Devontae Smith and or Kyle Pitts are there at 12. I think now at 12, you should get targeting Jalen Waddle and maybe even moving off of receiver to Micah Parsons' area. That's what I think is happening. But if Howie just picks the best available at 12, it will be a solid pick. It will be the right pick. That's all he's got to do.
Yes. And hey, I did 5 years of building assets. I can handle 1.
I think the building assets is probably the part to be most happy about because there's a certain guy in Houston. We're not going to get into all the issues, but there's a certain guy in Houston that's unhappy. There's a certain guy in the Pacific Northwest that is unhappy with his team. So who knows? Maybe there's a proven commodity on his way to the East Coast. I don't know. You tell me. I don't know.
I'll pass.
Ooh, that's a hard pass for Matt.
Pass down there.
We'll get into that later. That's coming.
Keep me all the way away from number 4 in Houston. And why would we trade for the guy in Seattle when we would literally just be setting him back to 4 years ago in his career?
What even say?
I like number 2 in Philly.
Oh my gosh, what a homer, boys!
Hey, y'all know who's going to be there at 32? I'm trying to do some draft scouting. Y'all know who's going to be there at pick 32?
Get out of here. Boys, this is it. This next question's where I shine. This is it. This is me season. All right, boys. We're on the clock here. All right, we're on the clock. And by on the clock, I mean the next game your Philadelphia Phillies play will count. It's going to count. Today was the last day of spring training. They had a couple days off before they start their season against one of the better teams in baseball, the Atlanta Braves. And boys, wasn't a great last day to spring training, since I'm one of the only 15 people that watch spring training baseball. But boys, we're back. Okay, we're back on Middleton's yellow brick road to bringing that trophy back down broad. All right. And before I go on my soapbox, we're gonna go around. Josh, I'm gonna come to you first. Tell me your goals for this 2021 Philly season.
All right. So I gave this a nice long hard thought, and I wanted to make it specific because I'm not going to say playoffs because playoffs will be an extra in my mind. I want to see them hit around 90 wins, and the way they do that is by dominating the Miami Marlins. I am sick and tired of the Miami Marlins owning this team.
I'm tired of it.
I'm tired of it. And this NL East, without a doubt, the best division in baseball right now. Last year we said these Marlins wins will never mean more. Now these Marlins games will never mean more, and I'm just sick of it. They need to dominate the Miami Marlins this season. Plain and simple, that's my goal.
I love that. Max, 2021 goal for your Fightin' Phils.
On a personal level.
It's not a good start. No, is not a good start.
It's just that I sat here last year so confident, so brazen, saying that they were going to cause some damage, that they could get over the shortened season and all that stuff. And they crashed and burned and sputtered pretty hard down the last month of the season, and that left me pretty salty. I'll be honest. I had financial investment into the Phillies. I had my personal ego investment into the Phillies. I got hit pretty hard last August. It sucked, and I haven't really been ready to open myself back up to be hurt again. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to say this: if this team can't make it to the playoffs this year, something major has to change. It can't be Bryce Harper, obviously, but there needs to be some kind of shakeup. There needs to be a blockbuster trade to show everyone who isn't Bryce Harper and Aaron Nola that you are expendable, and if you don't pick it up, we can find a way to move on without you, because this team is super talented. They have a very well-renowned and well-respected manager. They don't have the excuse of being a brand new team again this year. They're bringing back a pretty large chunk of the same core from last year. And if I see the bullpen blow another 25 to 30 games for this team, another 25 to 30 games for this team again this year, I might blow my brains out. I might be their 31st blown save of the season. Might be my noggin. All right, I can't do it again. I just can't do it again. So that's what I want to see. My goal for the Phillies season is to make the playoffs and not be so embarrassing with their rotation or their bullpen pitching that it's comical and you wonder how they win games at all.
JJ.
Max, man. Deep breath digits. Deep. You've been holding that in since August, dog. You've been holding that in since
I didn't even know I was holding that in. Every time I see these Phillies words, it's spring training. Who cares? Ignore, clear. And you guys know this is not me lying. I just found out that the regular season started in 3 days. I'm so hurt emotionally from baseball last year, so I haven't even opened a notification for it yet.
That's what baseball does.
I would have showed up here next week, and you guys would be like, what do you guys think of the first week of the Philly season? I'd be like, wait, what? What do you mean the first week of the Philly season? I haven't seen someone trauma like that in all my life, so I hope you feel better. But for all the points you made are why I'm confident in this team. They bring back a large chunk of their roster last year. Key re-signings, JT Realmuto, Didi Gregorius. They come in right now ranked, unbeknownst to me, but they come in right now ranked top 10 in starting rotation. I think they started like 8 or something. The MLB had them ranked. I was like, whoa, okay. I'll take that from the MLB. I'll take that little, not from some, freelance writer from straight from the horse's mouth themselves. I said, okay, I'll take that stroke of confidence if you're giving it to me. And I think another year under a solid manager and a very respected manager like Joe Girardi lends itself to an improvement. And I'm gonna be realistic. Like Josh, you said it, the best division in baseball, and it got better in the offseason. People were added to this.
Mets are overrated.
The Mets are overrated. I'm looking at the Nationals.
Turmoil.
The Nationals and Braves, really. But But I mean, it's a deep division, so you might be buying for that first and second wild card spot. But I do expect for the Phillies to have a very competitive season, to be wrestling with the first, second, and third spots of the division with the Braves and the Nationals, and to not, to build upon what they need to build upon from the past 2 seasons. Like it's going to be rocky, Max. It's not going to be great. The bullpen's going to blow. The bullpen's going to blow some games. Like be prepared for that. I don't want to lose you to
some games is okay. It's when it's you can when it's coming a mile away because it's been more than 2 games since their last blown one. That's what I need.
Is still on.
I can't live with that sense of dread over that rain cloud over my head all summer again. Where you see the Phillies go up 5-1 in the 5th inning, and then as soon as you see the 5-2 or 5-3 notification in the top of the bottom of the 7th,
there it goes.
Hector Neris is still on this team.
You just have to watch and just wait for it.
But I mean, Harper looked good in spring training. Realmuto looked good in spring training. Nola's looking good in spring training. You know what I mean? Got lots to be positive about. Call me a naive Philly sports fan, but I'm hyped about them. Mainly because I have a chance to go see them, and I didn't know last year, so I'm just hyped, man. Bring baseball back. I love baseball.
I got 2 goals.
Go ahead.
I got 2 goals right here. So I hammered the over on the Phils win, 85. You're giving me 85 wins?
Okay.
I'm hammering the over, all right? My goal number 1 is for the Phils to hit me that futures bet right there, because I think 85 wins is more than doable. 85 wins means you're most likely grabbing that first or second wild card spot. So obviously that comes along with that first goal. I think they need to make the playoffs for the first time in 10 years here. It is what it is. It's time to do it. Max,
it's been 10 years.
Yeah, Max, like you said, man, it's time to do it, or something drastic needs to happen. And that kind of goes along with my second goal. My second goal is to start turning over the roster. And when I say start turning over the roster, I mean deals like Gene Segura, deals like Odubel Herrera, like deals like Kutch is probably coming off the books at the end of his contract, unfortunately, even though I love the man himself. I love what he brings to the team. But it's time to start figuring out what you have. And unfortunately, Scott Kingery looks like he is going to turn out to be a bust for us. But it's time to figure out if the duo of Mickey Moniak and Adam Hazley are going to be your center and left fielders respectively for the future. And you need to start clearing some cap space for this upcoming shortstop free agent class, because, boys, it's
Didi on a 2-year deal. Didi on a 2-year deal.
Hey, I'll move Didi over to second. Yeah. Get me there's a free agent class, and Lindor. They're in extension talks, but Lindor, Correa, Trevor Story, it's like,
man, I would love Trevor Story. I still remember when he came into the majors and just was clobbering home runs.
He's one of the best. He's one of the best power speed threats in the major leagues. It's like, if you can clear some roster space and get me a bona fide star at shortstop, like we had with Jimmy, not like we had with Jimmy Rollins, but give me a star in the infield, in the outfield, and behind the dish, because we haven't had a star catcher since, go back to Dutch. But if you can give me one at all 3 phases of the defense, start clearing some cap space, get ready to gear up, because Correa is not happy in Houston. Maybe we can make Lindor unhappy in New York, and ain't nobody happy in Colorado. So if we can, that's my goal.
I don't think
I would disagree. Aaron Gordon looks very happy in his Nuggets interviews after his first game, before and after his first game.
Colorado baseball.
The one guy, the Phillies, that I'm tethering myself this year to is Matt Moore. I'm putting all my chips on Matt Moore.
Matt Moore had a hell of a year last year in Japan. He came back. He's sitting mid-90s with a fastball for a guy his age, which is huge. And that knuckle curve is a weapon.
I'm okay with Nola Wheeler more rotations for my top 3.
Zach Eflin, bro. Eflin looked good today.
I'm okay with it.
Yeah. And Spencer Howard, I left Alec Boehm out of that, figure out what your young guys are, because that kid's a fucking stud. Excuse my French, but that kid is I'd protect Alec Boehm more than the Queen. All right, send some of the Queen's guard over to Alec Boehm.
Talk about a pure swing. Talk about a pure
just
swing.
A hitter. He'll use all sides of the field too, all areas of the park, just a hitter.
Yeah, and Spencer Howard, I think go kind of take the Chris Sale approach with Spencer Howard. Like, keep him healthy, give him innings in the bullpen, and then when probably Chase Anderson or Matt Moore come off the books, then move him into the starting lineup, into the starting rotation. But like, he